Salute, Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing. Let's get into our preview tonight as the Knicks host Cleveland. And let's talk about our keys to the game, what to look out for. I'm going to break down the lineup data as well and get the reactions from the chat heading in. My keys to the game tomorrow night. The Knicks' third game of the season, coming off a feel-good win after Indiana and another game against an Eastern Conference rival, right? I'm going to give you my analysis on Cleveland's season to date as well. And as they are 3-0, they've played some three bad teams and they've picked up some good wins. So they're feeling good. They're coming into MSG after we are feeling good, after a big win over the Pacers as well. The Pacers went down right as we went on now to Philly as well. So they're in a world of hurt right now, our Indiana, as Tyrese Halliburton missed some free throws late in overtime as well. But shout out to the chat, shout out to Replay Squad. If you're new, like and subscribe to the channel. It's great to have you with us. And this season continues to roll on. It's early. Obviously, we want to see more, and we're going to dive into the small sample that we've seen so far in the lineup data as well. But of course, we're going to do a quick roundup, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty, the keys to the game, fam, and all the things that I want to see carried over from the Indiana game, right? And we're going to go through the matchups, of course, because Donovan Mitchell versus Jalen Brunson is always a fun matchup, most definitely. And obviously 2 years ago, this is mostly unchanged. The team, Cleveland team that the New York Knicks sent packing, man, in 5 games as well. You got Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen at the front court. Dean Wade has, put in some work to establish that starting wing spot for them. Although I do think that that's a clear weakness that we can exploit as well. And obviously their lack of depth, there is some questions around that for me. Karis LeVert's still their 6th man. But their smaller backcourt, Darius Garland and Donovan Spider Mitchell, right? It's going to be another fun matchup. Mikal Bridges, I want the New York Knicks to utilize his size against the smaller backcourt, right? And of course, guys, Cat, right? Another game at the Garden, Mikal Bridges, right? They dusted off the cobwebs. They had a great game shooting-wise. The offense looked way more cohesive, and another chance to make another statement against what was pegged as an Eastern Conference rival. Although I don't see Cleveland being on the Knicks level when at full strength and clicking. However, this is the bench look. Sam Merrill has been getting major minutes. Georges Niang at some small ball 5. Karis LeVert's been on a tear scoring the basketball as their 6th man. And Isaac Okoro, has been inconsistent throughout his career early, but, he's going to have his hands full with the Knicks bench as well. Deuce McBride on a tear himself. We'll see if Tibbs expands the rotation a little bit more. Something tells me that he will. I think Tibbs is just looking to see what the opponent does, and I think Cleveland will play, 9-10 men. And I think the Knicks will at least bring out a 9th man. Will that be Pacome Dadier? We'll talk about that moving forward as well. But salute Don John. What's up, Nostalgic Nick? Let's get it. Let's talk about our guys. Daniel Berry's in the building as well. And Buzzer Beater. Great to see you guys. So the New York Knicks will be hosting Cleveland, 3rd game of the season, right? Just before we get into the latest, the record for Cleveland, 3-0. They played a depleted Toronto Raptors without RJ Barrett and co. on the first game of the season. And then they beat Detroit Pistons comfortably. And then last night, they handled the Washington Wizards. So understrength Raptors, Pistons, and Wizards as well. So Cleveland, much like they did last season, they do get a cushier schedule at times. I mean, I would have loved to start the season against the Pistons, the Raptors and the Wiz, but they're going to have their hands full, right? Coming into MSG, they've been shooting the basketball well. Their bigs are shot blocking threats as well. So the New York Knicks do need to talk about more about catch shooting attempts, and I want jacking more threes, right? Because Jared Allen, Evan Mobley have 14 blocks between the two combined over the 3 ball games as well. So Cat's floor spacing, this is why we made the trade and brought him in, is to attempt more than 2 threes. And we're going to talk about that and dive into it further. Also, the New York Knicks 27-7 with OG Anunoby. Lost in the game, the win over Indiana, obviously, and the carryover from last season. OG Anunoby, man, he's understated, he's quiet, he doesn't get talked about enough. And he's our defensive stopper, and I pegged him as my defensive player of the year. And so, he's the plus minus god, and 27-7 with OG, right? We'll be looking at that to continue. But the New York Knicks got to guard the 3-point line, right? This will be similar to Boston in terms of the threat that they pose. They're shooting 43% from the field, from 3. And so that is a huge test for the New York Knicks, right? Our defense needs to be, much better than it was on opening night, and much like it was against Indiana, right? To hold the Indiana starters to just 30-something points was incredible. And we're going to look at that closer as we get more of a sample. We'll look at the lineup data tonight as well. Yeah, Shamet. So you see the graphic now. So what I've done is I've added Matt Ryan and I've added Landry Shamet. And why is that, fam? Well, because those guys are now Westchester Knicks, right? As we dive into our quick roundup before we get into the nitty gritty, fam. But smash that like button. We've all got the Knicks streets buzzing. And the New York Knicks G League affiliate, Westchester, took Matt Ryan with the first overall selection in the G League draft the other day, at Landry Shamet with the second overall pick, right? Most of you have maybe seen the reports already. We've talked about it. But this is just basically greasing the wheels for the inevitable. And that is that Landry Shamet will, by roughly November 5th, the New York Knicks will have to add to their roster to meet the league minimum of 14 players. And so Landry Shamet's going to be one of those players. Huck Pority is rumored to be converted to the other 14th main roster spot. And Matt Ryan, right, the 27-year-old journeyman, been on 4 teams, but shot the lights out last season, 45% from deep with the New Orleans Pelicans, right? He's going to be a New York Knick, right? I think inevitably the writing is on the wall with that one, right? So we'll talk about that moving forward a bit more tonight. And Cody, what's up, brother? It's about mid-morning for me, and great to be with you talking New York Knicks, right? And the Cleveland Cavaliers preview, fam, right? 21 each for Carl Towns, Mikal Bridges, right? Here's one of the big players, Cat, getting busy on the block, right? We need to utilize that, right? And we'll talk about that a lot more. What's up, Johnny? But we've got some injury updates, first and foremost, guys. Nothing major to worry about, although it is something very, very noteworthy for the ball game, and that is that Josh Hart is listed as questionable. And so the right ankle impingement. So basically, it was a injury that he picked up against the Indiana Pacers. Deuce McBride is probable with a left knee hyperextension as well. So, yeah, the New York Knicks depth is getting tested early in the season. And obviously the edge for the New York Knicks in this matchup specifically, I feel like, is our starters. But obviously our bench, I feel like, is stronger than their bench too. Depth questions. I mentioned the same kind of team coming over from 2 seasons ago with in relation to Cleveland. Isaac Okoro. What do you guys think of their bench, man? Karis LeVert's been scoring the basketball well, but Georges Niang and Sam Merrill, they're not names that are going to scare you, and that's saying that lightly. Obviously, Cameron Payne's been aggressive. I expect him to continue to be aggressive, driving the basketball with his little floater, banker shot, 3-point threat as well. We're going to dive into some numbers in a minute. But Deuce McBride as well, right? And so the keys to the game, right? Limiting Cleveland's shooting from 3, and they're in the top 4 in the league right now in 3-point shooting, right? And the New York Knicks are shooting at a 3-point, clip at a high level as well. So that's going to be a nice battle. The Brunson Spider matchup is obviously going to be the highlight, the feature of this matchup. Defensively, though, Brunson will be checking Darius Garland, in my opinion. You want a Mikal Bridges. That's the difference now. We have a defensive, lengthy wing stopper at the 2 guard with Mikal Bridges. So I expect Bridges to take the Spider matchup defensively, and then obviously offensively, probably Spider will guard Mikal Bridges as well, right? And maybe Spider might guard Brunson, but then Bridges is going to have that opportunity to punish Darius Garland, right? So yeah, shooting is going to be key for the Knicks in this one. I mentioned Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley. They have 14 blocks combined between the two over the first 3 games, right? So be wary of getting into the paint, and the shot blocking presence that those guys bring as well. And so OG will be checking Evan Mobley, and I feel like Cat will be checking down low. He'll be checking Jarrett Allen because he's not a stretch threat. But offensively, Evan Mobley's been shooting the basketball, and he can come out on the perimeter. So I expect OG to be taking Evan Mobley, right? Don John. But great question. And then that leaves, Dean Wade with Josh Hart. That's a matchup where, I expect Josh Hart to guard him well on the perimeter, but Hart has to be aggressive, just like he did against Indiana. Get to the cup. Josh Hart had his best scoring performance. So that is going to be key as well. We have some images from practice. We have, once again, Cat going to work on Jericho. So it looks like Jericho Sims is still pivotal to Tibbs's plans, early in this season, right? There's various opinions going around on that, right? I feel like it's only a matter of time before Hakpority will get a bigger chance. But just like we saw in that video, we'll talk about that later tonight, Deuce has really been coaching up Ariel Hakpority and just telling him to stay patient, and wait till his opportunity comes. And I think it will come. But my prediction, scoreboard-wise, the New York Knicks will win comfortably, 121 to 113. You guys let me know what you see as the final score in this one. And then obviously we take on Miami after this, right? But let's dive into some lineup data right now. And this is quite interesting because it's obviously a smaller sample, fan, but this will give you a further idea about how the two teams are looking right now. So what we're seeing is the team's best 3-point shooting in the league right now. Obviously, Cleveland have played an extra game, so that is an asterisk on that. The New York Knicks have only played 2. Cleveland have played 3. But Cleveland's coming in, fam, shooting 43%, right? And on a higher attempts as well. So they're making 15 out of 34 right now. So that's a huge threat. Garland and Spider, those guys have been shooting the basketball really well. But Sam Merrill off the bench is a sniper as well. We need to be keeping him close in check on that one. But I guess lost in the in the opening night debacle is that the Knicks shot the ball pretty well. And obviously from 3 overall in 2 games, we're shooting at a 40+% clip, right? So that's 4th in the league right now. So we are 4th in the league. And like I said, once again, smaller sample. Now let's look at field goal percentage, fam. Very poignant heading into this matchup. Cleveland coming in number 1 in the NBA in field goal percentage. So all the talk about how high-powered Indiana's offense is, and coming in from last season about how good their offense is. Well, Cleveland, deserve credit in terms of their offense. It was great last season, the season before, and it's looking like it's been efficient again so far. Although, once again, they've played 3 bad teams. They played the Raptors, the Pistons, and the Wiz, right? But they've been efficient, and they've got some players that can get off, and can explode, right? But the pleasing thing is, as well, from the New York Knicks offensive perspective, and we're going to dive into what I want to see from Cat, what I want to see from our offense. but the New York Knicks are shooting a league second right now, 53.7% from the field as well. So in a very efficient number, and that is something that I hope continues, man, all season long. And I'm expecting it to continue all season long. So let us know your thoughts on that. Don, do I think Jared Allen will have a night? He usually doesn't against us, although Mitch has definitely been pivotal to keeping him quiet. So Cat, I think, is going to have a good game, and I think, yeah, he'll keep him in check. He's really not their scoring threat. Jared Allen on the defensive side is something that we do need to be mindful of, although... Now, let's look at some things that aren't going as well. Again, small sample, but let's look at rebounding, fam. League rebounding. Again, I've got to scroll all the way down right now. And the New York Knicks are 27th, fam, in rebounding. So let's get the number here. Yep, 38. So there we are, 27th in rebounding in the league, and this is our totals. This is per game right now. What else? Assists. Got to go all the way down, man. The New York Knicks are 28th in assists as well. Right, so we've got to get that assists up. The ball movement's key. I know a lot of you have been talking a little bit about Brunson, finding other guys, other shooters in their rhythm. And that's going to be key as well. The pick and pop, the pick and roll, the inside out, down low game, post ups is definitely what I want to see, moving forward. And we're going to look at some lineup data in a second too. But yeah, shooting wise, been really good. But the little things, defensive rebounding and assists, we could do a lot better, fam. A positive though, turnovers, fam. We're coming in at just averaging 12 turnovers in the 2 games. That is 5th in the league right now. 5th in the league, but again, we've only played 2 games, so it's a smaller sample. But steady as she goes, because we've got a couple of point guards now. We've got dual point guards on the floor. We've got a multiple ball handling unit in the starting 5 with Mikal Bridges looking really, really solid in the first couple of games, putting the ball on the floor. In the last game, making plays, forcing the defense to react, and just be aggressive, because Mikal Bridges is that third option, guys. That's just going to open the floor up for Jalen Brunson and for Cat so much, and it's going to take the attention away big time. We're about middle of the league in plus minus. Obviously, 1 blowout loss, 1 blowout win. So that is that to look out for. Steals. Could do a lot better in steals. We are currently dead last in steals. But again, the Boston game, we only forced 2 steals all game. So definitely ratchet up the defense. High-powered offense in Cleveland. Right, let's keep them to a lower score. We made a statement against Indy, holding them to just 98 points. This one is another chance to make a statement against the high-powered offense, right? And look, we are unequivocally the best team that Cleveland is going to be facing so far, right? As their 4th game of the season, 3 bad teams. They handled their business, but we pose a completely different threat for them, fam. And we're going to look at some lineup data in a second, so give us your questions heading into the game. John says switching needs to improve. Yeah, I think that's just going to come with extra time, and with a chance to further gel. Offensively, we looked a lot better in the last game. Free throw attempts, let's take a look at that. I think the New York Knicks are coming in at 23 as well. So you've got to continue to be aggressive, get more free throws. Brunson, Cat, those guys can draw a lot of fouls. So I think being aggressive, getting to the cup, but be wary of their shot blockers as well. So they've got a dual tower, a shot blocking threat, which is a look that we don't face very often. As I mentioned, fam, anyone just joining us, 14 blocks combined between Mobley and Allen. Cody says Macau's going to have a breakout season. Yes, sir. I agree, man. 100%. He's my X factor heading into this season, right? And look, perfect opportunity for my first major key of the game. You see at the bottom screen, Macau post ups, right? Punish the undersized guards of Spider Mitchell and Darius Garland. I mean, we saw some great post up sequences with the Indiana game, right? I'm going to pull up specifically Mikal Bridges' highlights right now as he got loose. Mikal Bridges post ups, and he was all over the place. He was cooking, and we're going to need a lot more of that. Here we go, vintage Bridges, a little step back. He's also, a guy who can get the defense collapsing because he can put the ball on the floor. He's pretty quick off the first step. Here he is getting downhill, little pull up, looks smooth, looks perfect. And so, yeah, I think him clicking, 21 points, taking the attention away from Brunson and Cat. Right here, OG benefits from a wide open catch and shoot look as well, fam. In terms of OG, we'll talk about him and his impact in a minute. But look, Bridges is that dynamic third scorer. For us to have our most success, like Cody said, he needs to be the Phoenix Bridges, be really, really aggressive. Knicks Kingdom's in the building. I don't know about the Knicks being shook when they got to play good teams. Just elaborate a bit more on that, fam. I don't see the Knicks shook. I think the Knicks are going to win 55 games. I see quite a lot of the fans still coming to terms with the deal and the wheeling and dealing of the team, the front office. But I feel like this team is going to be super dangerous offensively, and obviously defensively, it's way too early for me to to come up with a long-term projection. Defensively, it's still a work in progress for me. Obviously, Cat is the main anchor. We don't even know if that's going to be permanent because Michi is still out. He gets back and changes everything. Obviously, Precious Achua getting back as well, that changes the Knicks options as well. Fabian says that was one game, relax. Yet Knicks Kingdom says, because the team is still new. I hear what you're saying, man. I think it's just going to take time. Yet opening night, we weren't on the same page, and that was pretty obvious. But we bounced back in a major way. We held the Pacers starters to just 31 points. And Halliburton to a donut, But yeah, Deuce McBride, he's a microwave scorer right now. And look, in terms of the matchups off the bench, as I pull that up right now, Karis LeVert playing really well, 19 points in the last game, efficient, head-to-head against Deuce McBride. I think those are going to get each other defensively as well as a matchup. Or maybe a Okoro might try to check Deuce McBride, but I think Deuce will check Karis LeVert off the bench if Bridges isn't in the lineup. If Bridges stays with the bench unit, let's say it's Payne, Deuce, and Dadier, Sims, and Mikal Bridges. I think Bridges will check Karis LeVert because he's their biggest threat coming off the bench for them. Like I said, he's been scoring the basketball really well, but against bad teams. In terms of the other two guys, Sam Merrill, he's not a defender. He's a 3-point marksman. So I really want Cameron Payne to continue to be aggressive. Take him to the rack. Don't fall in love with the jump shot. I do think Cameron Payne is going to get the best of that matchup. And in terms of Georges Niang, he's a bit of a 3-point threat. You have to respect his jump shot. So I think Jericho Sims is going to have to play out a little bit on the perimeter on that one. Again, they're going to go pretty small guys. They don't have a third tall that they integrate into the starting unit, because Tristan Thompson is kind of, situational. Tristan Thompson, who was DNP for a couple games, but obviously with Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, they're going to rotate those two guys to make sure that there's always a bigger body, I think, to protect the hoop, so that they can get 48 minutes of rim protection with that one. But yeah, Isaac Okoro, he's not really a three-point threat at all, a shooting threat. His shot hasn't still improved since we saw it in the playoffs 2 seasons ago. And so what I want to see is, the New York Knicks, be weary of the drive, lock him out on the perimeter, force him to take tough shots. And I think he'll settle for a lot of those shots. Dean Wade can let it fly, but obviously Josh Hart is going to have him in check too. And it's just all going to be about the battle of the backcourt and the front court for me, with the two big front court guys, Evan Mobley and Allen. I think Cat and OG have what it takes defensively to keep those guys in check. And then if Cleveland are going to have any chance of winning this ball game, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell have to put up 30 plus each, right? No doubt about it, right? Because Jared Allen isn't that scorer. And Evan Mobley has been scoring the basketball well this season as well. But I think their reliance on, their two backcourt guys is so big that I think, their depth is quite shallow. As I put in the captions down below, they've got depth questions. I think they're more shallow than the New York Knicks depth and bench. David says, I'm calling Mikal Bridges baby KD. I like it. Hopefully he can get that jump shot more consistent. But I like what I see so far in the last game. Cody says, I can only see the team getting better, not worse, injuries aside. Yeah, you start from the base and you just work your way up. I think chemistry and cohesion is big. Yeah, Dirty Dancer, we talked about Matt Ryan and the likeliness that he's about to join the squad on the big squad. November 5th, I think, is the key date that the Knicks have to increase their roster according to the league rules. But Landry Shamet, looks like the Knicks have heavily invested in getting him back. Right now, do the New York Knicks expand their rotation? Should they? Yes, in my opinion, this is the perfect game. This is going to be a wide open, end to end type of game, and I feel like Pacome Dadier should get in there, fam. Whether it's Dadier, Kolek, we'll see. Josh Hart is still questionable, so we'll wait to see how his ankle pulls up. Deuce McBride is probable on the injury report, so it looks like he's going to suit up. Precious, obviously, we're still waiting a couple weeks to see him get reevaluated. Huck Pority, it was a nice moment against Indiana when he came on, got the block, and Deuce McBride in his ear, coaching him up. That was great to see as well. But it was just a feel-good vibe from Indiana. Another home game. I'm expecting it to carry over, fam, and the Knicks to be a lot better defensively than they were against Boston, but also like they were against Indiana, right? And so here we have it, the box score from the Indiana game, right? There was a lot of points had from the starting five, four guys, 20 plus. Great to see Hart get his groove back. OG, efficient, but, didn't get as many attempts. And so for this one, man, the second major key to the game is for Cat to shoot more threes. With the Twin Towers down there, Cat has to shoot more than just 2 attempts from deep. He just has to, right? And we are shooting at a really good percentage as a team from deep. As I'll bring this up once again, the New York Knicks have that threat, right? We have the 5-out look and the spacing, so we need to take advantage of that. And for Cat to only average 2 3-point attempts in both games, right? That's something that has to go up, It definitely has to go up. So let us know your keys to the game. We'll shout it out as well. But welcome in everyone just joining us. Salute Replay Squad. Smash that like button. What's up, Keith? Greetings from the ATL. Great to see you, Keith. A nostalgic Nick says start Huck at the 5. Yeah, I see a lot of people talk about that. I think it's just it's a wait and see for now, but I feel like his time's coming. I feel like his time is going to come. Ariel Huckporty here gets the monster block on TJ, not in my house as well. Cameron Payne aggressive, getting to the cup with the and one play. What's up, David, in the building? Nostalgic Nick feels like Hart will be moved to the bench. It's tough to see right now because Tibbs loves him, some Josh Hart. However, I feel like for our offense to be the best possible look, I feel like a Deuce McBride, look into the starting 5 would give our floor spacing amazing boost. But obviously Hart brings those intangibles in other areas as well, rebounding, perimeter defense too, an extra size. So I feel like, all things are on the table right now. All cards are on the table. Tibbs will switch things up if he needs to because he loves the data. And he does look at these different lineups, right? So with that said, I'm going to bring up some lineup data coming up and what we've seen so far in a smaller sample. But the New York Knicks, extremely efficient around the NBA. 40% from 3, 53% from the field, right? So is this going to be more of a battle between offenses? Yes, tomorrow night. However, the New York Knicks defense, I feel, overall has more potential, I think, to stop and slow down Cleveland, right? They've got the Twin Towers, but honestly, Cat can neutralize them by spacing the floor out, and so can OG Anunoby. He can, at the 4, he can just pull, Evan Mobley out, and so there's literally no counter that I can see Cleveland doing, because when you've got defensive sieves in, Dean Wade, Darius Garland, and Donovan Mitchell to an extent, not a defender. The New York Knicks should have a field day, I think, with those 3 guys and are pulling the Twin Towers out of the paint as well. Right. Also, they haven't played a good team, So the New York Knicks 27-7 with OG. But the one area where I feel like the New York Knicks could lose the ball game is if we just give a really poor defensive effort and we just let them shoot threes. So we must guard the 3-point line, and then I think we'll be okay. Jared Allen's not a post threat. I can't see him putting up enough points to hurt us down low. Evan Mobley, right? You give him his 20 points. I think that's not going to be, too detrimental to us. What's up, Shay? Great to see you. Buzzer says Cleveland's 3-0, but it's against a bunch of bad teams, as I've talked about. Toronto depleted, Pistons and the Wiz. Dirty Dancer says somehow Sims has earned Tibbs' trust by being consistently terrible. I feel like it's by committee. I feel like or by seniority. Sorry. I feel like early in the season. He's the elder statesman. Tibbs likes to bring the rookies along slowly, but I think in the case of Ariel Huckporty, I think it's a little bit too slow. I think he's ready to give proper minutes, and look, at the very least, play both of them, right? Now we're probably not going to get that against Cleveland because, as you see, they don't have that big tower off the bench. Georges Niang is the small ball 5. And they're obviously going to try to play Mobley or Allen, I think, and stagger them a little. But, Huckporty looks promising in his smaller minutes too, and I think he's deserving a bigger shot. Right, Pacome Dadier, right? This is a good game to get him going. I think it's a good matchup against Isaac Okoro, like for like, Karis LeVert. I think we match up really well to our favor. I think Cameron Payne should take advantage of the Sam Merrill matchup, although he needs to be wary of him, letting it fly. He's literally a blur coming off the curl. Sam Merrill is a sniper, so we have to be on our game for that. And then obviously Karis LeVert, he loves to shake and bake, in the words of Clyde. He loves to get to the cup. Not so much of a jump shooter as Karis LeVert. He loves trying to use his size, and get down low, to punish teams, right? But I feel like a good matchup, Deuce McBride, another good matchup. So let's look at some lineups now, and take a look at the New York Knicks different lineups that we've seen in the first two ball games, the starting five. It's a tough sample to see so far because two games, two different stories. One super confident, and the first game obviously we're still figuring a lot out, right? But yeah, let's take a look at all the different teams, right? Let me switch this over to the New York Knicks. Yeah, get your comments and questions in, guys. So the totals, I'm going to go, that is per game. I'm going to say totals. So far, obviously the lineups that's played the most minutes, 74 minutes for our starters, fam. And they are shooting 41%. We are a -5. Obviously, the blowout win and the blowout loss is to take into consideration. 16 free throws and shooting 68%. Right, so the starting unit got to get that free throw percentage up, fam. But 11 of 16, it is a smaller sample. The next most played lineup is Josh Hart with Bridges, Brunson, Deuce McBride, and Jericho Sims, right? Similar effect. In the plus minus, the lineup that's had the most success so far is Towns with Cameron Payne, OG, Josh Hart, and Brunson, fam. So that's interesting. Let's take a look at steals. So the lineup with the most steals is the starting lineup. Bridges, OG, aggressive defenders. We need them to continue to be really, really aggressive. So 31 minutes. It's a very, very small sample for this starting five, and it's going to take a lot of time for them to get to their best, right? But with each game as we go, you want to see more carryover. Tace is going to be a statement game. CAVS starting strong. I'm not as worried about this matchup. Honestly, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I really am. Buzzer says, what is Cleveland's biggest weakness? On defense, it's their undersized backcourt, fam. You can definitely score on these guys, posting them up. However, offensively, I feel like they do fall in love with the jump shot as well. Their starting backcourt, they're heavily reliant on the 3-point shooting. So you guard the 3-point line well, and I think that's the key to the victory, fam. Also, their depth. They've got a lot of depth concerns. I mean, for as shallow as our bench is right now, we wait for the roster to increase to 14 spots by Shamet and Matt Ryan. It's not as bad as Cleveland's, right? Isaac Okoro, you can leave him open, and he's not going to hurt you. Georges Niang, not as very athletic. Sam Merrill's more of a specialist, that one-trick pony. And it's literally Karis LeVert as their one-man wrecking crew right now. So I have serious concerns over, Cleveland's chances of going further into the postseason or even finishing in a top 5 seed because the East is getting stronger. I think their depth is major concern, right? They're paying guys a lot of money, and so it's tough for them to fill out their roster. This is like the 3rd year running that they haven't really addressed their wing spot. They're still, trying to see what they've got in Dean Wade. They're still trying to see what they've got in Isaac Okoro. What's going to happen if Karis LeVert goes down? He shoulders a huge load, I think, for them. And so, also, fam, they could have a tendency to be a little soft. little soft, right? Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, we handled them, and we gave them the business. Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein did back when he was here as well. So Karl Anthony Towns, another big night coming up, another chance to make a statement. I feel like he's going to shoot more threes, space the floor out better. I feel like he's going to be able to pull Allen or Mobley out there, and then he's going to be able to put the ball on the cup, I think, and drive to the basket, and be aggressive that way. Buzzer says, is the art of getting the other team's star in foul trouble gone away? Should Tibbs try that old school strategy? Yeah, in terms of like what I said, post ups. If switching on Mikal Bridges, if Spider or Garland end up on him, I mean, give it to him down low. Cat and OG can move out to the perimeter, open the paint up for a Mikal Bridges. He can post up Spider and Garland as well. And of course, our captain, Jalen Brunson, should be able to try to get Darius Garland down low and punish him that way too. Very undersized guard, Darius Garland, as well. Obviously, Brunson ain't that much taller, but he's a lot more stronger and stockier than your Darius Garland. So he needs to be mindful of that and punish him on that way. And then we can try to get him in foul trouble, Buzzer. Dirty says, probably given up offensive boards, but we don't have our maulers. Yeah, big chance for Cat to show that, he can handle the load, rebounding. Cat's been rebounding the ball very well. And let's take a look at our best rebounding lineup. Right, obviously by a wide margin, it is the starting unit, 25, and then the next one is 10, right? But that is with Cameron Payne in the lineup. But look, we have the option to play bigger if we want. I like that Jericho / Huck forwardy look. And then you can put Jericho to the 4. I think that's something to look out for. Dorkasaurus says Daddy A's cutting is next level. It is, yeah, and hopefully he gets more minutes. I feel like Tibbs went with the 8-man rotation against Indy because, it was a chance to play that tighter rotation and get back in the win column for the season after a tough opening night. But I feel like, yeah, Daddy A is going to be central to Tibbs's rotation. I'm pretty confident of that. Some nights he might not get many minutes, but I feel like he's still that, ninth man right now, with Payne, Deuce, and Sims being the 6th, 7th, and 8th man. Right, Daddy A still that 9th man. And look, most nights you have to play 9. It's going to be a long season. Obviously, Shamet's going to get back in. He's going to be that guy once he's back healthy. Some nights it could be Kolek. Some nights it could be Kolek too. So yeah, nostalgic Nick. I think the starters are pretty much set, right? Tibbs isn't going to switch things up, right away. Especially after coming off a feel-good win. I think it'll be very, very unlikely that he switches it up, fam, too. So yeah, Jarrett Allen is in the starting 5. I haven't seen him on the injury report, Buzzer, so I'm expecting Jarrett Allen to suit up. I haven't heard otherwise as well. So is there any reason you're asking about Jarrett Allen, or have you seen an injury report come out? Because I haven't seen anything yet. Dirty says, I think Tibbs saw that we had 2 days off and was like, may as well play them 40 minutes in a blowout. Yeah, we did have a couple of days off, and that is key. Also, another 2 days off on this one. So I'm looking for these guys to come out with more energy. I think we don't play our first back-to-back until the 10th game. So that is really nice. David, yeah, I noticed a couple of turnaround J's on the baseline already. And hopefully that is Patrick Ewing's influence. Because, yeah, he's been around in practice with these guys. And I think him working with Cat is going to be really, really nice and solid. Let me just bring this up. So this was Cleveland's game against the Raptors, fam, opening night. I'll bring this up on the bigger screen. So what you get from Cleveland is basically, look how lopsided their scoring is. You got Mobley 25, Mitchell 21, Garland, he does go streaky. He goes in and out. Karis LeVert with 19, right? Dean Wade, is he starting material? That's what I mean. It's questionable right now. 5 points with the starting unit. He played 19 minutes. So, I mean, Josh Hart should get the better of that matchup, right? But Evan Mobley, man, had a block party on that one with 3 blocks. Jared Allen with 4 blocks. And so that's the threat to look out for when you're driving to the cup. But to Buzz's point, you can get them in foul trouble, then that's going to hurt them. Brunson has to be aggressive, as well as Cat down low. You see Garland pick up 4 fouls here. Sam Merrill, not a defender. You can take advantage of him. 4 fouls as well. So that's something that we need to look at with these guys, fam. Sam Merrill playing off the bench with 4 fouls too. I know Cameron Payne's going to see him and he's going to be like, barbecue chicken. I could take him to the hole. Deuce McBride as well. So yeah, I'm looking for the Knicks bench and starters to win their matchups as a whole, and the Knicks will win 121 to 113. Give us your score predictions as well, your keys to the game. Dorkasaurus says, I don't think Josh Hart is so great at perimeter D, to be honest. I think he does get a bad rap offensively at times, but obviously if the shots, he's taking those shots and he's hitting them, he's a lot more helpful. But defensively, I think, his calling card is on the glass, on the perimeter. He can get, beaten. But I think he's serviceable. He's average to slightly above average, I think, defensively on the perimeter. But obviously, our 2 other wings are a lot stronger. So Josh Hart's questionable. I don't think he's going to be out for weeks. I still expect him to to have a chance to play tomorrow night, based on what I've heard. What's up, Sandman? Sandman says, I want to see more of Cat going inside using his jump hooks. Yeah, absolutely keys to my game for tomorrow night with Cat and those bigs. But I don't want him in the paint as much tomorrow night. You know why? Because of their rim, their shot blocking threats. It's important to get them out on the perimeter. That's why we assemble this 5-out look, fam. And so we can really space Cleveland out, right? And neutralize Mobley and Allen with 14 blocks combined in just 3 games. Also, look, Mobley, he loves getting aggressive, trying to block shots, but you can get him in foul trouble as well, because he's not really solid. He's not very big in terms of, build and stature. So you can definitely put your shoulder down and back him down, and get him in under the cup. Cat's a bigger body than Mobley. So if he draws that matchup on a switch, that could be barbecue chicken. Dirty Dancer says, I go back and forth on who is our 5th best player. But if Deuce keeps upping his efficiency, he has to be the guy. Yeah, look, as a 2-way player, I think Deuce has surpassed Josh Hart. I think that's fair to say. And I'm not trying to sell Josh Hart short. I just feel like Deuce McBride has, elevated his game to that point now. But at the same time, I'm really not ready to switch things up yet, because Deuce is such a weapon coming off the bench. It gives you such an advantage to have a 6-man microwave scorer, to come off the bench. I think if you put Hart on the bench, where's that scoring going to come from? Cameron Payne is going to have to, do a lot more of the work. And really, it's who finishes. It's not really who starts for me. And it's also about minutes. If I just pull up the box score, from the Knicks in the Indiana game, I mean, Deuce McBride played 20 minutes, was very impactful. But as long as you get his minutes up to 25, 30, I'm not worried that, if he doesn't start, you can always just pull Hart off the bench, back to the bench, earlier in the first quarter and just get Deuce in there a lot earlier. Sandman says, I honestly think our perimeter D will destroy the Cavs. Yet you and me both optimistic about it. Buzzer beater, salute coach in the building. What's up? Nostalgic Nick says, in order for 5 out to work, JB has to pass the ball. That is true. That is true. Everyone has to pass the rock. But yeah, JB with 5 assists. But he also has to be aggressive too for the defense to key in on him. I do like Deuce coming off the bench, I'm not going to lie. But I do feel like he's our 5th best player in terms of two-way. Knicks Kingdom, that's a good comment. Hart is a playoffs guy, regular season kind of player. Yep, he is a playoff. He's a player for the playoffs. Really, that's where his real impact hits. I think against the playoffs, in the playoffs, fam. When you can be more physical, don't forget they do call these ticky-tack fouls, in the regular season. But yeah, another game, it's going to give us more data, on this starting 5. And, it's very early in the season still. I want the starting 5 to shoot better percentage from the free throw. Get those free throw attempts up as well. But our field goal percentage is good. 51%. The starters are shooting 41% from 3. We're 4th in the league in the NBA. Let's see what Cleveland's defense has got for us, fam. Because I feel like when these guys are swishing like they were against Indiana, no one's going to stop us, right? Unless you're a team like Boston, right? It's certainly not going to be Cleveland. They've got a lot of players that we can take advantage of, and also some depth concerns. Dorkosaurus wants us to expand the rotation, to stay healthy. I agree. That's why I think early in the season, just get Daddy A in there, get Huck Porty in there, get Deuce's minutes up, and so some starters can stay more fresh, right? I'm looking for a guy like OG. If you can wrap up the game early, get comfortable, rest OG. He's the kind of player that we can't afford to be without, right? And look, there are certain players that aren't in our top 2 players, but they're players that we just can't afford to be without. OG is one of them, 27-7 with him in the lineup. He helps fortify our defense, on the perimeter and down low, in so many ways. But, there's a lot of cases being made that Huck Porty gets more minutes. Daddy A. Kolek was a little rusty in garbage time against Indiana. I think he's going to be a guy that they might bring along a bit more slower. And I'm not mad at that at all. I feel like Kolek, is still figuring things out, the speed of the game defensively. Offensively, he looks completely ready to run a team, does Kolek. But defensively, can still be a liability. And so far, some teams have taken advantage of Kolek on the floor in his minutes. But look, Cameron Payne's been amazing from a veteran's minimum pickup perspective. He's a guy who's been aggressive offensively, really solid defensively as well, being aggressive, getting in guys' faces. I don't know about Pack starting, man. Like I said, I don't think Tibbs is going to switch the lineup up. But look, yeah, if Hart's out, then yeah, I could see it. If that's what you mean, then I salute. Yeah, if Hart misses, he's questionable right now. I don't know if Tibbs is going to want to put Deuce in straight away. He might want to keep Deuce as the 6th man. Coach says add OG to that for small ball. Yeah, he's such a Swiss Army knife. It's so, fortunate for us to be able to have him at the 3, the 4, the 5 sometimes. Yeah, he's a guy that can pick pockets, get in the passing lanes, and just be so disruptive as well. But shout out to Mikal Bridges was really disruptive as well, right? The Knicks defense was up a notch, no doubt about it. The home crowd does give us a big extra juice. Dirty Dancer says, first big test for Bridges is checking on a smaller scorer. Good to see how he can do it versus like a Maxi type. yeah, I feel like he's still our best perimeter defender in terms of smaller, quicker players. OG for the bigger guys, but yeah, it is going to be a big test because you slow down Mitchell, the Knicks win the ball game, right? Cleveland just don't have enough scoring if the Knicks can slow down Donovan Mitchell, um, and so I'll be looking for Bridges to guard Mitchell, not Brunson, right? We all know who Brunson can guard. That's Darius Garland. I think that's the best matchup for JB, because from a size perspective, he's not going to be able to take full advantage of Brunson. But Bridges definitely, man, keeping Spider in check is going to be key. And look, Hart, Dean Wade. I mean, a battle of the fifth starters on both teams. Right, Hart, take advantage of that matchup. Take him down low, be aggressive. Dean Wade's not a physical guy, as you guys already know. Yeah, I like what I've seen from Pacome, Sandman. He definitely showed that he belongs, right? No doubt about it. We've got a super chat we're about to hit on with Buzzer Beater. Continue to get your comments in. CT on the solo with the Cleveland Cavaliers preview. New York Knicks look to go 2-1 for the first time in the season, go above 500. Cleveland haven't played a good team yet, and the New York Knicks will be their new look lineup will be put to the test again against a high-powered offense. So, great question from Buzzer Beater right now. Appreciate you, fam. Are there any updates for Chewy, Shamit, or Mitch? Yeah, I'll give you what I know and what's been out there. So, with Chewy, nothing recent. There's still optimism that he'll be back in 2 to 4 weeks. He'll be reevaluated. So it's been roughly about a week. I guess the silver lining with that is we've only played 2 games in about a week. So we've had 2 off days. That stretched the timeline out, and so that Achua might only miss like 8 games. He might miss less than that. But yeah, nothing new on that front. Still optimistic he'll be back within the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Rehabilitation seems to be going well. Landry Shamet, there's also optimism that he's going to be a factor, if he can avoid surgery very soon. If that's the case, rehabilitation's going well. He, he posted an Instagram story of him doing a workout. The shoulder's not in a sling. He's avoided surgery for now. So that is the key update for Landry Shamet. In terms of Mitchell Robinson, we've only heard from him himself, not from the team. And Mitch also took to Instagram. He let everyone know that rehab's going well. However, nothing in terms of a timeline, unfortunately. So we just got to keep it at the calendar year, which is going to be basically a January reevaluation. Hopefully that's January 1st. Hopefully it's even sooner than that. But yeah, we've got to tread lightly with Mitchie, because it is a case of Mitch, once he gets back, he said he wants to, be back for good. He doesn't want to, come back and then suffer a setback or anything like that. So yeah, with that said, it's going to be a welcome boost in the arm when more of these guys return. Obviously, Precious is going to be first, assuming that goes smoothly. Landry Shamet is probably going to be back before Mitch, I would assume, and then Mitchell Robinson in January at some point. But yeah, we might see some Matt Ryan before Landry Shamet. The Knicks did prioritize him with the first pick of the G League draft. So it looks like they're going to get him on the 2-way by November 5th. And I think Ariel Huckporty, fam, will be an official a rostered player on the New York Knicks. And I'm happy to hear that. Sandman says they just re-signed Shamet. Yeah, it's going to be coming, fam. Unless they just signed him in the last 30 minutes since I came on. Yeah, it's going to be a case of they've drafted him on the G League and then they're going to get him back by November 5. So yeah, it's a case of much needed depth. We're going to need some more guys coming through. Obviously, Kevin McCullough, we haven't even seen anything of him. No summer league, no preseason yet. He's a guy, once he's up and healthy, I think could be more NBA ready than Kolek and Adier, based on his college career and based on the scouting reports. I think with Kevin McCullough, it's a health reason right now. But look here, our rotation set for now, and let's look at this. Right, Deuce McBride coaching up Ariel Huckporty, saying that's how I earn minutes. Right, veteran leadership from Deuce McBride. I've been so impressed with Deuce. I'm going to get this up with the audio, just for those that haven't seen it yet.
Don't throw these minutes away. That's how I earn minutes. You know what I'm saying? That's how I earned it. And this little time, that's how he builds trust. Don't throw these minutes away. That's how I earn minutes.
Yes, sir, Deuce McBride, man. That's my vet. Now, man, how does that feel to see Deuce McBride as the vet, sharing his wisdom, experience, and all of that, to Ariel Huckporty, the rook, coming through, trying to make the most of these small garbage time minutes, Look, Ariel, I don't think he's I've seen a big reaction about this, but I think it's more because of it's heartwarming to see from Deuce's perspective. But I'm not worried about Ariel Huckporty. He's given max energy. He's looked ready every single minute he's come in. So I think, Deuce giving that advice would probably better be served giving it to, your Daddies and your Colex and that. But look, I'm glad that he's still doing it. Don't get me wrong. But I just haven't seen anything from Huckporty to suggest that he's throwing away minutes. If anything, he's the one that's come in with a battery on his back. He plays with a high motor 100% of the time. So yeah, I think that's just Deuce, just reminding him about what's at stake. Because sometimes that can get lost in it as well. Cody says Deuce the gem dropper. Sandman, yeah, against Embiid in the playoffs, Mitch could be a big factor in that, and was, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, we've got Shaman and Matt Ryan on the G League with the aim to bring them on the main roster spot by November 5, fam. That's the key date that the Knicks are going to have to up their players on the roster. But look at Cat with his back down low on Miles Turner, right? How many bigs have we had in recent memory, man? Not many come to mind that can post up with a nice light little hook shot and be a threat, a low post threat, right? Going back since Amari Stoudemire, fam, and I know Julius as well, but I'm talking more at the 5. Players that played the 5 for the New York Knicks with a proper post up, back down threat, right? Karl Anthony Towns. I'm hungry. I'm hungry to see a lot more, guys. And I think the Knicks will pick up their second win of the season. I think we'll do it defensively and offensively. I think Cleveland, they've been shooting the basketball well, so we've got to be out on the perimeter, and slow them down. Great to see you, Nice. What's up, brother? Great to see how you feel in the Knicks start to the season. It's been a contrasting 2 games, although you see the trend. You see things trending up for us, right? Not everyone's going to be Boston, right? It's going to be like we saw last night. Boston struggled on the road. It was an opening night, kind of outlier, right? Another little baseline fadeaway from Bridges. That's a lot of growth from Deuce. Right? What I like from Deuce here, right? Keeps his dribble alive. Nice little assist, keeping the dribble up with his right and the swing to Bridges. That's growth, fam, for Deuce McBride. Look, Sims rolling, but Deuce keeping the dribble alive. That's improvement from a playmaking perspective that we haven't really seen much from Deuce before this season. Here, the Knicks get a stop and they get out in transition. Bridges is tough to stop, man, in size, right? if we have our last season's guards with Dante or maybe Hart in that situation, I don't think they finish as strong, right? Bridges 6'6", finishes all over TJ McConnell on that one. That's the extra stride and the length that Bridges gives the New York Knicks on this finish, this one. Right, look, TJ, and he wants to sag off, but he has to commit on that one because there's just too many threats. Here's Hart's playmaking and ball handling, underrated play there. Hart's playmaking showing that it is important. Right, he's a player that can keep his dribble alive, and from the wing spot, nobody can underrate Hart's playmaking ability, right? Because he can do it, especially coming off the fast break. I love the little hook shots. What's up, Shez V and Sandman? Yeah, those hook shots are deadly. We need to see a lot more of that. Cleveland's been playing some bad teams, Buzzer, and we're definitely going to be their toughest team. It's going to be a case of a reality check for them, right? But what I want to see is hopefully a blowout and get these guys out there more. But Huck Porty deserves some minutes. Here's a nice highlight play late. Guarded the screen really well, recovered, helped defense, man. What a swat and a shot block from the big man on that one, man. Almost made the ball handler fumble the basketball with his ball pressure. And his teammates loving it, right? So yeah, the ball handler fumbles there, and then he recovers the Huck. Right, so help is on its way. I think Landry Shamet, though, I don't think he's going to be ready to play until probably. I'm gonna make a guess. It's probably going to be late November at the earliest. Right, these shoulder injuries are very tricky, but the fact that the Knicks have drafted him looks like he can avoid surgery, and it's not going to be, the same level of rehabilitation as the Julius one. It's not going to be that level of, requiring the surgery and being out for a year, and so half a year. And so Landry looks like he'll be back with the Knicks big club very, very soon. And we'll find out more from Tibbs and the medical about how soon he can play. But I expect Matt Ryan to be converted to be on the two-way spot, and he'll be on the Knicks bench, I think, very, very, very soon. But yeah, in terms of Bridges' game, right? In terms of the clear role on this team now after the Indiana game, man, it's really clear for me. I think Bridges is the third reliable scorer that this team has now, and obviously putting up efficient numbers against Indiana. But the way he did it was the most impressive way, finishing on the break, the post-ups, and the three-point shooting threat, taking advantage of smaller guys. Sandman, yeah, the loss to the Celtics could have been a blessing in the end. It was probably way too early in the season to even, matter one way or the other. It was very inconsequential, I felt. 1 of 82, it was the ring ceremony and all of that. Jay Giant, salute, what's up? Steve says Bridges really stepped up. He has, yeah, early in the season. But Shamet's going to be back, fam. Shamet was cut, but yeah, Shamet was drafted by the Westchester, New York Knicks, and they're going to bring him back up very, very soon. That is the talk going around as well. So I like it. The Knicks rewarding some loyalty. A lot of people were like, "What? Why did the Knicks cut Shamet? Just because he got injured?" And they don't really understand the business side of things. But look, the Knicks, in true fashion, they stay loyal. And they, as long as he doesn't need surgery, the aim was to always try to bring him back. Nice says Shamet can take a back seat with Robinson. We need them both healthy by January and throughout for the playoffs. Yeah, we need all our guys healthy, but yeah, those two are super important, OG included, for our defensive purposes. No doubt about it. Nick P, salute. What's up? David says the only thing this team needs to do is bring effort and energy every night. They have all the pieces. Yes, sir. Obviously, our bench is still the weakest part of our team, but if we're adding to the roster, we're bringing Shamit back healthy, who can shoot. We've got Mikal that we can play with the bench unit. You know, we can play Deuce with the starters and Bridges more with the bench. We don't really lose anything because they can both do what each other does with their different units as well. We've got extra size on the wing. I feel like Hart, we could go as far as Josh Hart's ability to be efficient and offense wise in the starting five. That's a key storyline. I think that's going to continue throughout the rest of the season, right? Just be aggressive, and take those open shots, and take advantage of your mismatch, right? Dean Wade, that should be a matchup that Josh Hart wins, and I think he will, right? So that's been my keys to the game, fam, is the New York Knicks will look to go above 500, and hopefully they put in the same level performance that they did against Indiana. I think they will, man. They'll make another statement, and we'll pull out the victory, and then it'll be on to Miami, fam. We hit the road. We hit the 305. Miami's had a stop-start to the season as well. They just picked up a win, but they started slow as well. But the New York Knicks now are eyeing some momentum after the beatdown they gave to Indiana, another Eastern Conference rival. MSG home crowd, man, it's going to be lit. We'll be live post-game, as always, but hope you enjoyed the show. Smash the like button. Appreciate the chat showing out tonight. Salute to all of you. Salute to Buzzer Beater for the super chat contributions tonight as well. Allah Wise, what's up, brother? Peace. Vaughn Allen. Hope everyone has a blessed night. And we'll be back tomorrow night to chop it all up. Hopefully after a huge Knicks win. And I think the New York Knicks defense will continue to be strong like it was against Indiana. Fam, we don't take Cleveland lightly because we know that they can get hot, right? But Bridges, Cat, right? Get your caboose down low, man, and post up their players. Get them in the paint and take advantage that way, man. But as always, Jalen Brunson, I feel like, will get the better of his matchup with Spider or Garland. Either way, that's going to be the thing to look out for in terms of Brunson and being aggressive. Darius Garland can't hang with Brunson, man, physically. It's just a mismatch down low on the block. They're going to have to bring the help, especially if Brunson gets some post-ups. And then hopefully Brunson can kick it out, get these shooters going, everyone. But salute, peace, everyone. Let's get it tomorrow night.